What do you do with long scores? Hi, I'm Marcus and I'm a Shakuhachi player. I've been playing and performing for over 10 years, which I just realized when I started this video. In this video, I'm going to look at some music stands and how we can use them for the sometimes very wide shakuhachi scores. I'm going to look at traditional Western music stands, at a Japanese solution, a very fancy new stand, which is very nice actually, and how we can use some digital means to display scores. Music stands, what an exciting topic. Finally, I've been waiting for this video for so long, I can hear you say sarcastically. When learning new pieces, you're probably using notation of some kind, and it's worth thinking a bit about your setup. Of course, if you play koten honkyoku, so the traditional original music for shakuhachi, you should really play from memory. At least that's how I learned it. And even if not, the whole of the shakuhachi koten honkyoku of the KSK, for example, that I'm playing can be made into this super light and very portable book, which I've been carrying around with me for over 10 years now. So you can see it's a bit battered. So there is not a lot of score usually to worry about when you play honkyoku on the shakuhachi. So today's topic is a bit more general. I'm going to look at music stands. The problem where to put the sheet music to read it comfortably is not particularly different for shakuhachi notation than it is for other instruments. However, Japanese scores are traditionally not bound in a book or booklet, but are just one very wide sheet of folded paper, for example, like this one here. Yeah, this is not a particularly long score even, but you can see this is just one very wide piece of paper, and we need to have some place to put it if we want to play it. One thing that I often found annoying when playing shakuhachi is that it's difficult or impossible to put the whole score on one stand, and I often had to get creative with longer sankyoku scores or even a full honkyoku score. So this is the score for Shogen Kanrebo KSK notation, and you can see two sheets. Yeah, and remember that 90% or so of shakuhachi music is solo music, so there are not really any rests where you can have a chance to rearrange the sheets. And even in sankyoku, it's difficult to find enough time to deal with the sheets. Let me also mention that in a way this video is something of a continuation of the last one that I made where I looked at posture. When you play with a score, of course, your gaze is focused on the score and where the score is, meaning mainly how high off the ground it is and how stable the thing is that you put it on has some influence on your posture too. So if it's very low, you may hunch over, okay? If it's very wide, of course. I don't think anybody plays like this, but that would be very awkward. Okay, before I go through the stands, let me say that your situation probably is a bit different from mine, and I would be really curious to hear what solutions you're using. So please leave me a comment below, as always. And while you're there, please like and subscribe. This is YouTube. This is a small channel, so each action really helps me a lot. Let's start with the typical metal or wire stand that you have in the West. This is the type of stand I grew up with, so to speak. This particular stand here has been floating around in my family for as long as I can remember, at least more than half a century. Okay, this type is not really lightweight, but portable enough, and it has been used by musicians for generations. It has 3 legs at the base, like pretty much any music stand, and you use screws to adjust the stand. Yeah, so the base as well as the column here, yeah, which you pull out and adjust it to different heights. This one here was always a bit low for me, coming back to the topic of posture. And the obvious thing I noticed over the years is that if the score is too low, I hunch over a bit, as I already mentioned. So this creates a similar problem to the one I mentioned last time. Actually, for me, this one has got much better in the last few years because I have settled on a playing posture, which takes now precedence over the position of the score. I'm also a bit better now at playing in non-ideal postures. But anyway, look at your posture. Okay, the video, of course, is linked here now. This stand doesn't extend very far to the sides. So if you have a long score with little or no opportunity to flip the pages, it's often tricky to use. There are these metal arms, which you can use and add maybe 2 sheets of paper on the sides, or you can fold them back to hold a book with a particularly strong back, yeah, with a stiff binding. So if I take this score here, yeah, I can just sort of make it stay on here. But as you can see, this is not really very stable. Okay, let's make it work. And if I have, for example, this Shinobu book here, yeah, this, if I leave it on the stand, it just folds back. So yeah, you can use these things here to fold them like this, or maybe like this, and then yeah, you can hold the book with a stiff binding in place. These stands are about 20 to 40 euros, and you can get them at any music shop. This is the stand that you find in at every music corner here in the West. So you can fold it up nicely, and then it's portable very easily. Then let's have a look at this one. This model here you find very often in Japan. It's very similar to the foldable metal stand that we just looked at. It's very lightweight. It's lighter than the Western one, so it's very portable. I think this may be made out of aluminium instead of steel, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure which version I got. So yeah, you set it up like this. He said, failing gloriously. So yeah, so you have the 3 legs at the base, and then can fasten it like this here, pull it up a bit more, so, and then it extends like this. Okay, so the platform is differently made from the Western one, and so here, regardless of how wide the score is, this easily fits. Okay, one major advantage of using a stand like this is that here at the base of the platform you have support for the score as well. If you remember on the Western score, on the Western stand, there was the platform ended here. Okay, and if you put anything on the side of that, you would have to sort of balance it or put it in place with, I don't know, but maybe with magnets or something like that. Okay. So this is not too stable, but it's very suitable for typical shakuhachi scores because you can stand it to be very wide, and the pins at the bottom on which the score rests support the scores even at extreme points. Okay, this one here at the moment is about 5,500 yen, which is about 30 to 35 euros. So it's about the same as a Western stand. Okay, so that's that one. Then a while back, I got this one here, which is a variation on the Japanese stand. This only contains the platform and 1 leg. It's actually made from a German manufacturer, König und Meyer, or K&M, as you may know them, who make all kinds of microphone stands and holders. Gigging musicians like this brand very much usually because the mic stands are very, very solid and among the best you can get. This so leg here at the back means that the angle of the stand depends on how far you pull the stand out to the side. Okay, so if you have it on the table like this, the score will be very flat. If you pull these in, the score will be more upright. Okay, it also has these little extensions here on the side. Same purpose, I think, as for the Western folding stand. Okay, this one, last time I checked, is 17 euros. And again, it's readily available. Since we're at solutions to put something on the table, what I've done on many occasions when I was in a pinch, for example, when traveling, is to put the score on the screen of your laptop. You can even adjust the angle in contrast to the table stand we just looked at. And of course, you have the same problem with the sides, but then you probably put the laptop on a table and maybe you can find something to prop the sides up. So that's it's more of a hack rather than a real music stand, and it would be very expensive, right? So you don't want to use your laptop just for holding your sheet music. Now let's look at this one. If you don't need to carry around your stand, you may be interested in a more stable but also heavy type, which is often called Orchestra music stand because these typically are not carried around and stay in a music venue or in the practice room. A stand like this can also hold heavy books, which you cannot do with the foldable ones, of course. They come in all shapes and sizes, made from metal or wood, or like this one from a combination of the two. So yeah, it's a very nice design, I think. This one doesn't have any extensions to the side. So if you want to use this for wider scores, what many musicians do is that they have some piece of cardboard, which you put down first, and then you can put the sheet music on top of that. But of course, I don't know, it doesn't really solve the Shakuhachi problem, if you like. It doesn't solve the problem that the base of the platform does not extend all the way to the sides like you have it with the Japanese stands. Because these materials are a bit thicker, heavier, these stands are quite a bit more expensive. They start at about 120 to 150 euros. And of course, you can get really fancy ones for hundreds of euros as well. So that's this one. Maybe it was fate. I don't know anything about fate. I don't have any opinion about that. But while I was preparing for this video, the guys from KraftGeek got in touch about their music stand, which has won a few design prizes, and I can see why. Before I hold it up, the usual disclaimer, they sent this to me for free and I can keep it, but they have no influence on this video or even see it before it's published. There are also some links down in the description. Again, they wanted me in their affiliate program, and so I agreed. So if you use this link, the usual stuff, you know this from YouTube, right? You can buy this at the price at no extra cost to you. I may get a few euros. I doubt it because this channel is very small, so probably not. But please use the link if you feel like it, if this is something for you. Okay, so. The stand, enough talk. So the stand is a modern take on the foldable metal stand. It's very lightweight, so it's easy to transport. To open it at the base, you turn the screw here, and then you turn out, you get the legs out like this. There are no screws to adjust the height, so you just pull this out, which is very neat. But of course also has somewhat limits to the weight you can put on it before the platform moves down. The platform, see, shot. Yeah, so the platform extends like this, has three parts. Yeah, the middle like this. You can pull out the sides here, so yeah, you can fit a typical Western sheet music book on here. Yeah, you have these clips on the side to hold the book in place, and this one here, the top bit, can be adjusted in height, and you can fold these down to put sheet music on it. So, right, if you have the typical Edition Peters as you usually have, right? So it just fits width-wise on here, but you can see, right, if I extend this to the sides as far as it goes, and then if I use the clips, this is not straight, so probably you would use this only on one side. The width is quite limited, as I already said. On the foldable stand, I can manage with up to 4 sheets. Here, this is difficult because you don't have these extensions that you have on the foldable ones. But it depends on what you're using. So, for example, when I use the Shinobu book, right, which I try to hold in place before, for this one, this stand actually is very nice. The stand is quite stable, not as stable as an orchestra stand. It's, I think, in the same ballpark as a traditional folding stand. I'd say probably it's a bit more stable, but it's sort of that, right? So it's not an orchestra music stand stability that you get with this one. All right, so, oh yeah, there are some useful accessories, which you have to buy separately, or you can get a bundle as well. First, there is this very nice bag, which fits the stand and its accessories, and it's easy to carry around. I'm going to try if I can put Shakuhachi in here as well. Let's see. So it's shorter than a Shakuhachi, okay. But if I take this apart and then put the Shakuhachi in its bag, ooh, like this. Okay, so yeah, so you can put this on top, and I don't know, this may be something you like. Yeah, probably even longer Shakuhachi, probably 2.4 you could fit in here as well. Then there are 2 screw mounts for 2 accessories on the stand. One is here, the other is at the top, and you can screw these accessories in. The first one is a reading light, which also folds in and out like this, okay, and you can screw it on the top like this. Yeah, easily done. You gives you a nice light. 2 brightness settings. Also can plug in a cable if you don't want to use the batteries. You can of course also buy a simple clip-on light, like this one here, for example. And this works on any stand, right? So this works on this stand as well. You will find a position for this, and then you can use that. Of course, yeah, that works too. That works on any stand, but you can see it moves around a bit. This one is screwed on, so this is very solid, which is very nice. The second accessory is a phone and tablet holder, which I'm actually using at the moment for my iPad to film myself, so I'll just have to quickly get that. So here's your little behind the scenes thing for today. So yeah, so I've been using the iPad to film myself. So this is a phone and tablet holder. Let me take out the iPad here. Of course, it's generally a good idea to put away all your digital distractions when practicing, at least escape from the information overload for a while. But there are also situations when it's useful to have your phone or a tablet right there with your sheet music, and for that this tablet or phone holder is quite useful. So you can screw it in like this. Okay, and then you have screws here, so you can put this in any configuration. For a phone, you would make it a bit smaller, something like this. So you can use this holder for many purposes. For Shakuhachi, it's occasionally good to check your pitch, so you can have a tuning app running on your phone. You can use it for a metronome app, displaying your set list for video conferencing with other musicians or for lessons. Maybe for that you put it in the top position here. You can start playback of backing tracks or use it for all the music making shenanigans that you have today, synthesizers, whole music production projects, and so on, right? So this is a very nice holder. Actually, I've not really actively sought out any phone holders, so I don't really have a lot of comparisons, but this one is probably the best one I have so far. It's very stable, it holds it in place. You can basically put everything in any position that you need. So I'll definitely be using this one here a lot. So for the pricing at the time of filming this one here anyway, stand is about 80 euros, so quite a bit more than a typical folding stand. The tablet and phone holder is 20 euros, light 25, bag also 25. I actually do like the stand, yeah, and depending on the score, I've already used it quite a bit instead of my old trusty foldable stand. Otherwise, I usually use the Japanese folding stand. Okay, but instead of using your phone or tablet as an additional device on a sheet music stand, like we have here, you can go completely digital and display the notation on your phone or tablet. You probably carry this around with you anyway, so when traveling, you wouldn't need to carry any paper notation with you, and many musicians do this already. Electronic scores have all the usual advantages over electronic versus paper. No extra weight in addition to the device, which you have anyway. Duplicability, okay, so you have multiple versions with different annotations. You can go hands-free, page turning with a separate foot pedal, like like this here, for example. Okay, so it just has 2 little buttons, page down, page up. So this would be something extra to carry around, of course, in addition. I mean, for paper, you don't have this option. I don't know how you would make it work. This hands-free operation is, of course, neat because you usually need your hands to play your instruments. Okay, electronic scores, of course, also have the usual disadvantages. The device is expensive, it is more clumsy to handle, you cannot just pick up a pen and write, you have to tap at least one thing on the screen first to be able to write then, yeah, and you probably also need a stylus in order to be able to write legibly and so on. The screen size is limited, except if you go for a 13-inch model, which is about the same size as an A4 paper. Again, that's less cheap and also a big thing to carry around. But even if you have a device like this and you display the score on it, you can really typically only display one page. And if you're like me, see more of the score to the left and right gives me, I don't know, some orientation while I'm in the midst of performing, especially. Okay, so for practicing, I don't find it that important. There are also, but especially for performances, I really like to see more than just one page. And with these devices, of course, that's a bit difficult. Since this stand is still standing here, this one here to hold a tablet or a phone may not be quite stable enough for my personal liking to use on stage, yeah, where you move around a lot, or maybe you don't stand on a very hard surface, but it's moving up and down a bit as well. And so then, of course, a stand will move quite a bit. And then if you have a heavy device on it, the movement will be more. You can use the same holder with a microphone stand. So this is just a table stand. Okay, so the base is not really very heavy. But yeah, right. So you can just use this. You can use a microphone stand, which you may even find at many venues, and you just need an adapter like this one here, because the screws on mic stands are bigger than the screws that you use for photography, which is what they went for here for the stand as well. And all the tablet phone holders, they have the smaller screw size as well. So you need some kind of adapter to go from one size to the other. So there are many different ways in which you can put up sheet music, paper, digital, many different stands. And of course, this depends on your personal situation. And as I already said earlier, the stand can affect your posture. So if you want to see what I have to say about that, watch this video and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Hi, I'm Marcus and I'm a Shakuhachi player. I've been performing and teaching for over 10 years now. Has it been that long? Oh my God. Hi, I'm Marcus and I'm a Shakuhachi player. In this video, I'm going to look at some music stands and how we can use them to hold